Greetings, friends, and welcome to Firefly and the Willow Yoga. I'm Rebecca. In today's class, we will practice connecting with the breath as we start out on our backs on the mat for some gentle movements to wake up the body. We'll then come up to stand for some warrior poses and work towards a peak pose of Ardha Chandrasana or half moon pose supported by the wall. We'll end with a supported fish and a restorative heart opener. You will need a couple of blocks and some pillows or a bolster for today's class. So take a moment, gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat.
So we'll start out on our backs today. So you can bring yourself down to your back. Maybe you'd like to stretch out your legs and allow your arms to rest by your sides in Shavasana, or perhaps you like to take a constructive rest pose. And just take a deep breath all the way down into your belly. And invite yourself into your body. Just invite yourself all the way down into your toes, into your legs, spreading your awareness out into your arms, allowing your head to be heavy, and beginning to bring your breath all the way down into your belly. Take a nice, big, deep, long breath. Pause at the top, then exhale slowly. Do this again, inhaling deeply, deeply into the belly, filling the lungs up all the way, feeling the collarbones spread apart from each other. Pausing at the top. And then when you're ready, slowly exhaling, slowly, 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 all the way down to the bottom. Pressing the air out of your lungs. And then just allowing the inhale to happen naturally. Inhaling again, all the way up to the top, filling the chest, filling the belly, stretching the lungs, stretching the skin of the chest. And then after your pause, slowly, slowly, slowly exhaling. And then just allow your breath to return to normal. Just noticing the gentle, natural rise and fall of your breathing. Allowing your shoulders and neck to be relaxed. And the natural curves of your spine to be present. A little curve under your neck. A little curve of the lower back. And now if you're lying in Shavasana, go ahead and bring the soles of your feet to the floor at the edges of your mat. And if you're in constructive rest, allow your knees to open. And we'll just begin to gently windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Just waking up the outer hip here. Maybe giving yourself a little massage in your lower back. And we'll bring that to stillness. Taking the hands next to the hips here, we'll walk the feet a little closer in towards each other, bringing the heels as close to your tail as you can here. And you might even be able to reach down and brush your heels with your fingertips. If you can't, that's fine. Just moving the heels close to the body, palms facing down, just engaging into the mat here. And then pressing into the soles of the feet. As we inhale, we'll allow the hips to rise up towards the ceiling. And then exhaling, allowing the hips to sink down. Just remember here too, the breathing is an invitation. So if it feels more natural to you to exhale as you allow the hips to rise and to inhale as they come down, that's fine too. And so allowing the hips to rise and then exhaling to fall. Keeping the knees moving in towards each other as if you're holding a block between the knees. Inhaling the hips up. Exhale, release. And coming through this flowing bridge twice more with your own breath. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, release. And one more time. And allowing the low back to sink back down to the floor. We're going to allow the hands to rise up from the mat here, making some gentle fists and just beginning to circle through the wrists here. So just really make these circles sort of slow and notice how they feel as you move through this circle. Feeling the stretch of the skin at the back of your hands. Feeling the extension of the forearm as the hand comes back. And then maybe take those circles in the other direction. And then bring that to stillness. We'll extend the right arm up overhead, allowing the palm to face the ceiling and bringing the thumb into the palm so that the four fingers are coming back towards your face. And then taking the left hand, just gently, gently pulling back on the fingers until you feel a nice extension in the forearm. Allowing the right shoulder to sink back towards the mat. And then allowing that to release. We'll allow the fingers to come forward, pressing gently on the back of the hand, feeling an extension through the hand, the front of the arm. And allow that to release. We'll switch to the other side, taking the thumb into the palm of the left hand, allowing the back of the left fingers to come towards the face, and then using the right hand to gently pull back, sinking that left shoulder into the mat, stretching through the forearm. We do a lot of computer or keyboarding work. This can be a nice way to stretch out the wrists and hands. And then we'll allow those left fingers to come forward, pressing gently, gently on the back of the hand here. Our wrists do a lot for us, and they do deserve our respect. So just being cautious here and taking care of your body. And then we'll allow that to release, bringing the elbows back down and maybe doing a couple more wrist circles here, just whatever feels good. And then bringing the hands back down to the mat. Well, once again, just bring those heels a little closer to the tail. And we're going to come through those flowing bridges again. This time we're going to allow the arms to rise up overhead as we do so. So as we inhale, allowing the hips to rise, the arms will rise up with them, reaching out overhead. And then exhale, floating the palms down. And here you might even pretend like there's a soft cloth in the air, like a silk, and you're running your fingers along that silk as you inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down. Once more here, inhale, arms overhead, stretching out through the fingertips, pressing into the heels. Exhale, hips come down and arms come with them. And now flipping the palms so that they're palm up. We're going to take a deep breath. And as we exhale, we're going to lift the chest and shoulders from the floor, keeping the neck nice and neutral here, almost like you're holding a nice juicy peach right under the chin. We're going to bring the fingertips towards one heel. So inhaling here, we'll exhale, reaching for one heel. Inhale, center. Exhale, other heel. Inhale, center. And exhale toward the heel. And if you can't reach the heels here, that's fine. That's not really what's important here. We're just doing a little abdominal work, both obliques, the side body, and our central abdominal muscles. Just begin to move with the breath if you're not already. Inhaling to center. Exhale one side. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. And do this for 3 or 4 more breaths. And then inhale back to center. Slowly allowing the shoulders to come back down to the mat. Extending the feet out long and inhaling, arms overhead. Really stretching out here, allowing those abdominal muscles to get nice and long. And then bringing the knees into the chest. Maybe rolling a little from side to side here. Stretching out through the low back. I'm going to interlace the fingers around the right shin here as we extend the left leg out long on the mat, flexing that left foot and really pressing out through the left heel here. And we'll do some ankle circles with the right ankle. So taking that foot in some circles in any direction. Keeping that left foot flexed, pressing out through the left heel. And then taking the ankle in the other direction. And then allowing that to come to stillness. We'll inhale the left leg back into the chest, switching the grip of the fingers and exhaling out through the right heel, pulling the right toes back towards the face. And doing some ankle circles with the left ankle now. And then taking that in the other direction. And then inhaling the right knee back into the chest. This time, as we're exhaling, we'll extend the left leg up overhead, pressing out through the heel and bringing the left toes back towards the face. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, slowly lowering the left leg back down towards the floor. Inhale, dragging that left heel on the mat, bringing the left knee back into the chest. Exhale, extending the right heel up towards the ceiling. Pausing here for an inhale. And then exhale, slowly lowering right heel to the mat. Inhale, dragging that right heel along the mat, bringing the right knee back into the chest. Switching the grip. Exhale, left heel presses up toward the ceiling. Pausing here for an inhale. Exhale, left heel slowly lowering down. And pay a little attention here to the low belly, pulling that low belly in, stabilizing the low back. Inhale, dragging left heel along the mat. Left leg comes back into the chest. Exhale, right heel towards the ceiling, really pressing out through that right heel. Inhaling here. Exhale slowly, connecting that belly button to the spine. Slow, stable, and strong here. Inhale, dragging right heel along the mat, back into the chest. And then taking a deep breath, maybe sighing it out. We'll do some hip circles here, allowing the knees to part. Inhaling, opening the knees. Exhale, bringing the knees back together. And maybe your breath pattern here isn't exactly the same as mine, but just find somewhere in this circle of the knees where your inhale and exhale feel natural. And then we'll take this in the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, allow that to come to stillness. We're going to cross the ankles here and reach forward for the big toes. Maybe you reach for the outsides of the feet. And then allow the shoulders to sink back down towards the mat. Pull the feet back. Maybe you find a little movement here, maybe not. And then allow that to release, switching the cross of the ankles and reaching out for the toes or the outsides of the feet, pulling back. We're going to allow ourselves to come up to seated now. So you can choose to release the cross of the ankles and roll to one side, pressing yourself up to a seated position. Or if you like, you can begin a gentle rock and roll here. Eventually rocking yourself up to a seated position. And when you make your way up to your seat, just allow yourself once again to arrive. Just connecting with what it feels like to change your position from lying on your back to sitting up straight. Stack your spine right over your tailbone. Maybe tuck your chin slightly, sit up nice and tall here. And from here, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, reaching out through the fingertips. And then exhale, dropping to one side, either side. If you have a block handy, you might experiment with what it feels like to bring that block under the hand behind you, really sitting up nice and tall. Inhale to sit up straight and exhale, deepening a little more into this twist if it feels good for you. And we'll release this by inhaling the arms up overhead as we come back to center. And then exhale, dropping in the other direction. Finding a nice twist here. Just gently, gently. Inhaling to grow tall. Exhale to twist. Nice straight spine. And then inhale, releasing back to center. Arms reach up overhead. And this time we're going to drop the right fingertips in between the shoulder blades, taking the left hand to the right elbow. More than pulling down on the elbow here, allow your collarbones to spread open. Continuing to sit up nice and tall here if you can. Remembering that if it's difficult to make your spine straight here, you can make more space for your body by sitting up on a block or a blanket. Inhaling, fingertips go all the way up overhead. And then exhaling, we'll bring those left fingertips in between the shoulder blades, right hand to left elbow, and then inhale, opening the chest. Give yourself a little smile here, maybe a little gratitude just for showing up for yourself, showing up for this time. Inhale, arms come up overhead, hands come to meet, and we'll exhale, hands to heart center. Keeping the hands together now at the center of the chest. I'll turn so you can see. We'll press the palms into each other actively so that the elbows come out side to side. And then inhaling here once again, making the spine nice and straight. As we're exhaling, just pressing the hands over in one direction, moving only the elbows here. Inhale back to center. Exhale, elbows other direction. Inhale back to center. Exhale, elbows to one side. This is called Shiva arms. Inhale to center. And exhale, elbows over to the side. Inhale back to center. And then from here, we're going to allow the arms to open wide, inhaling nice and deep here, maybe allowing the thumbs, to rotate behind us just a little bit. And then as you exhale, just hug yourself, one hand over the other, reaching back for the shoulder blades. And maybe give yourself a little side to side motion here. Inhaling, elbows come up slightly. Exhaling, tucking the chin. And then as we're inhaling, opening the arms up wide again. Allowing the thumbs to reach back behind. And then exhale, one arm over the other, switching those arms this time. Finding the shoulder blades or just reaching back towards them. Giving yourself a little hug. Inhaling, elbows come up. Exhale, chin drops towards the chest. And then inhale, arms come open wide. And exhale, fingertips swim down toward the mat. I'm going to come to all fours. So allow your knees to swing around, make any adjustments you need to make. And we'll come into our tabletop. You can allow the tops of the feet to press into the mat here. If you like a little stretch in the bottom of the foot, you can curl the toes under. So choosing what feels good in your body today. Nice wide fingers, eyes of the elbows shining forward. And we'll just come through some cat-cows here. So just inhaling, allowing the belly to drop, being gentle with the neck here, just letting it follow the spine, not trying to throw the head back. Exhaling, pressing into the mat, pulling the belly button up towards the spine. Inhale, belly drops down. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under, stretching all along the back body. Just allow yourself to come through a few of these with your own breath, making any natural movements that you like to make. It's not necessary that we be rigid in our interpretation of what this cat-cow motion means or looks like. Just let yourself go off the rails a little if that feels good. Off the rails yoga. And then when you're done here, just exploring this body and breath connection. Just allow yourself to come back to stillness, snuggling back down into a nice neutral tabletop. And then when you find yourself there, we'll walk the hands, a couple of handprints out in front, turning the toes under if they're not already, and shifting the hips up towards the ceiling, keeping the knees bent here, really extending that tailbone up towards the ceiling and pressing actively out of the mat. Elbows are straight here, knees are bent, spine is nice and straight. You can feel that line from the crown of the head all the way out through the tailbone. Inhaling here as we're exhaling, we'll just extend the left knee slightly, allowing the left heel to sink down toward the mat. Inhaling to bend that left knee again, and exhaling, extending the right knee. So notice here that we're keeping this nice straight connection of the spine. Inhaling, bending the right knee. Exhale, extend the left. Inhale, bend the left knee, pressing the mat away actively. Exhale, extend the right. Inhaling up to both toes now. Exhaling, allowing both heels to become heavy, considering that you're pressing your weight back towards your heels more than just trying to extend the knees. And then bending both knees deeply, shooting that tailbone back up towards the ceiling. We'll take the gaze toward the hands here and walk the feet up towards the hands. Coming into our forward fold. Again, knees can be nice and bent here. Maybe you take hold of both elbows coming into a ragdoll, or maybe you just walk the fingertips along the floor from side to side. Just allowing yourself to gently settle into this first forward fold today. And if you did take that ragdoll, allow the fingertips to come down to the floor, perhaps just some blocks if you like to use some blocks under your hands. And inhale to drop the hips down, allowing the belly to really connect with the legs here. And then exhale, keeping that belly on the legs, extending the legs just slightly, feeling some sensation in the back of the legs. Inhale, drop the hips, belly to thighs. Exhale, keeping that belly to thigh connection, extending the knees any amount. One more time. Inhale, belly to thighs. Exhale, extending the knees. And then inhale to release. If you have one block, you might like to bring that under your hands now. You can just bring your fingertips to the floor. Then we're going to allow the left hand to rest on that block or left fingertips on the floor. As we inhale, the right arm open, extending through the right knee. And just find your breath. And exhale, allowing the right arm to come down, bending into the right knee, taking the right hand to the block or right fingertips to the floor, inhaling up through the left arm as we extend the left knee. Exhale, left fingertips swim back down to the floor. You can shift that block out of the way if you brought it in. And we'll bring one hand over each bent knee here, inhaling up to stand, nice and slow here. And maybe when you come up to the top, you inhale, arms up overhead. Maybe your gaze comes up towards your hands if that feels good for your neck. And then hands come together, exhaling down to heart center. Take a moment here to press the thumbs into the sternum, maybe feeling your own heartbeat there, allowing the shoulders to sink down the back. And again, just taking notice here of what it feels like now to shift from the mat to a standing position. So we started lying down and we moved to seated, and now we've come to stand, and all those things feel different in the body. So just notice, how does this feel? How does this change your mood, your perspective, outlook? Nice deep breath here. And then as you're exhaling, allow the fingertips to swim down. We'll take a walk up towards the top of the mat if you're not already there, adjusting clothing or anything else you need to feel more comfortable. And then just tuning into the feet here. So take a moment and really consider, what does it mean to press into all four corners of your feet? Where are the four corners of your feet? And are they all connected to the mat here? Toes pointing out directly in front. We'll bring a little bit of a bend into the knees and then lift all the toes from the floor, inhaling shoulders onto the back. Exhale, chest stays nice and wide as we allow the big toe to drop and then the little toes to drop. And then all the toes in between to drop, and see if you can feel that place where your toes meet your feet. See if you can feel that connecting with the floor. So almost like you're pressing your toes flat against the floor. And then imagine that you are pressing the outer edges of your feet into a wall, or pulling the mat apart with your feet. And feel how that allows all the muscles of the legs to engage, to hug in towards the bone. And almost instinctively, then your belly also contracts, belly button pulls in towards the spine. Inhaling, shoulders up to ears. Exhale, shoulders down the back. nice, stable, engaged Tadasana. Feel this connection to your own stability, your own strength, your own ability to stand tall, both on your mat and in your life. And then inhaling, arms come up overhead. As we exhale, we'll sweep down into a forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Nice straight spine here. And then exhale, forward fold. Bringing in your blocks if you like. And take a big step back with the left leg. Exhaling as we allow the hips to sink down, maybe taking the gaze forward. And then planting both hands on either side of this right foot. We'll shift the right foot back to meet the left, holding it here in a plank for 2 breaths. Really pressing away from the mat. Remembering you can bring your knees down to the mat if you prefer to do a half plank. This is not a competition. And then exhale, shifting hips up towards the ceiling, coming back into downward facing dog. Nice big deep breath here. And then we'll inhale the right heel up from the mat. Exhaling as we bring the right knee into the chest, stepping forward, right leg. Exhale, shifting the gaze forward. Right side lunge. Inhaling, back foot comes to front. Exhale, release. Forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a breath. Exhaling, hands sweep down. And then inhaling, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. So this is a little modified sun salutation. Exhale back into your fold. We'll inhale the right leg back this time as we exhale into a left lunge. And it's modified because we're skipping the chaturanga. So if you have difficulties with chaturanga or it's difficult for your shoulders, you can always try this version instead. Planting both hands, we'll step the left foot back next to the right now. You can come to the knees if you like. We'll come here to plank and hold our plank for 3 breaths. Pulling that belly button into the spine. Keeping the hips lifted slightly, but not too high. Allowing yourself to be like a plank. When you've come to the end of your 3 breaths, on your next exhale, shifting the hips up towards the ceiling, downward facing dog. And this time we'll allow the left heel to rise up from the mat. Exhaling, left knee to nose. And then stepping forward, left side lunge. Taking the gaze forward, sinking the hips down any amount. And then stepping the back foot to meet the front. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. And hands come to heart center. We'll take a wide stance on the mat. Now we are going to practice some triangle. So if you have some blocks that you like to use, you can bring one to each end of your mat. We'll also do some Ardha Chandrasana. So if you have a wall in your space, you might like to use that for your Ardha Chandrasana. That is half moon pose. So we'll take the stance nice and wide here. Inhale, arms up overhead, coming to a 5-pointed star, really pressing out through the outside edges of the feet and reaching up through the fingertips. And then exhale, hands come to the hip crease. Inhale, shoulders onto the back. Exhale, sinking forward, wide leg forward fold. Inhale up halfway, bending the knees just slightly here, engaging the quads to give the hamstrings the message that it's okay to relax. Exhale to release. Forward fold. And then from here, maybe placing one hand over each bent knee, or perhaps bringing the hands back to the hip crease. We'll inhale up to stand. And back to our wide leg forward fold. Turning out through the right foot now. We'll bring the left foot to a little bit of an angle. Inhaling up, arms up halfway. And then exhaling, bending into that right knee. Coming into warrior two. Really bringing awareness into taking our weight into the outside edges of the feet. Lifting the heart up tall. Dropping the back hand, we'll scoop the front hand up and back. Stretching into the side body, deepening into the front knee. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Bringing that top arm up over the ear and feeling that line of energy that runs from the fingertips all the way to the outside edges of the feet. Nice big deep breath here, peeling that top shoulder back just a little more. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, we'll extend the knee. Take a nice big deep breath. And then on the next exhale, shifting the hips out toward the side as we reach out with the front arm, coming into our triangle pose. If you like to use a block here, you can bring that under the hand. Imagining that those lower ribs are smearing up towards the ceiling. The gaze can stay out front, or if it feels okay for the neck, taking the gaze up toward the thumb. And now allow that gaze, whether it's out forward or up towards the thumb, to just travel down toward the hand that is supporting you. And just take a moment here to notice again just what it feels like to shift your gaze. Taking the gaze back forward, engaging everything, and back up. And then allowing the arms to drop. Feet come to parallel. And we'll take another forward fold here as we exhale. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, sinking just a little deeper. And then inhaling all the way back up to stand. Turning out through the opposite foot now. Left foot. Right foot comes to a bit of an angle. Inhale, arms up halfway. Exhale, warrior two. Taking a gaze gently over those front fingertips. Peeling that front knee back just a little so that if you glance down, you can see your big toe. Dropping the back hand, scooping up some air with that front arm. Reaching back. Deepening into that front knee. Nice big inhale here, reaching up tall through that side body, and then exhale. Arm comes up over the ear, extended side angle, keeping that bottom knee stacked over the ankle. Inhale back to warrior two. And then extending through that front knee, exhaling the hips out to the side and coming down into your triangle pose. Taking the gaze up toward the thumb or out front. And then on your next exhale, slowly shifting the gaze down toward your supporting hand and just noticing any changes. Inhale the gaze back to front. And then on your next inhale, rising up, allowing the arms to fall, feet come back to center. And you can shake out through the legs here if you like. If you do have a wall in your space that you'd like to use for your hatha chandrasana, you can come to the wall now. And so setting ourselves up for triangle, taking it back to the other side first. So I'm going to bring my block behind my right foot here as I set up for triangle on this side. Inhaling, arms up halfway. And then again, shifting the hips out to the side, dropping into my triangle pose. Now I'm allowing the wall to support me here, so I can feel the back of my head and my hip on the wall, and the back of my hand here on the wall as well. On my next exhale, I'm going to shift my gaze down toward that supporting hand. And you can leave your arm extended up overhead, or you can bring the hand to the small of the back. I'm going to bend into my front knee, shifting my block about 12 inches in front of my foot. And then allowing the wall to support me, lifting the left foot and taking the gaze back forward. Finding the breath. And before we move, we'll consider how we're going to come out of this pose, coming in and coming out in the same way. So as we begin to consider how to move out, we can take the gaze back down to the hand, perhaps bend back into the knee, coming back into triangle pose. And then once you've found your triangle, inhale to come up all the way. Exhale. Hands come down to the sides, and we'll switch to the other side. So I'm going to take my block around to the other side. Setting up for triangle on this side. Inhale, arms come up halfway. Exhale, hips shift out. Coming into my triangle, supported by the wall, not knocking anything off onto my head. My hip and the back of my head are both on the wall. And then shifting my gaze down towards my hand, bending into the front knee, shifting that block out about 12 inches in front, and allowing the leg to lift. Ardha Chandrasana. Really engaging out through the heel. And then beginning to consider how to move out. Taking the gaze back down to the hand, bending into that supporting leg, reaching back, And back into triangle pose. And then inhaling to come up. And exhale, arms come down. Feet come to parallel, and we'll heel toe the feet back together. And come back to our mats. I'm going to grab a bolster here. If you have some pillows, you might bring those into your space. And we'll just make our way back down to the mat in any comfortable way. Take a moment here, rolling around on the low back. Just letting the spine and the pelvis reset after all the work we've done. Allowing the feet to find the floor here. We'll bring the right knee into the chest, allowing the right ankle to stack over the left knee. Inhaling here. And as we exhale, bringing that left foot up from the floor, maybe reaching behind, interlacing the fingers, pressing the right knee away, feeling that stretch through the outer thigh. And if you like, you can extend your leg here or your left leg or keep it bent. It's really just up to you, as long as you're feeling that sensation in the outside of the opposite leg. And then allow the left foot to come back down to the floor. Switching sides here, left ankle comes over right knee. Nice big inhale. And as you exhale, reaching through, lifting the right foot from the floor, moving the left knee away, and allowing that right leg to be in any position that feels good for you. And allowing the right foot to come back down to the floor. We'll allow the left to join it. I'm going to shift the hips over and turn to one side. Press ourselves up to seated, and then you can bring your pillows. And we're going to let the pillows be long on the mat here. So you can bring your pillow or your bolster up very close to the tailbone here. Now we're going to just allow ourselves to sink back over the bolster or your pillows. And once you've found your way here, you can adjust yourself just a little so that your hips are supported on the bolster and your shoulders are, but your head is coming off. And then allow your hands to come up underneath your tailbone, extending your legs out nice and long here, opening the shoulders and dropping the head back. So here you see we've come into a variation of supported fish pose. So this pose still providing length in the front of the body, opening the shoulders, opening the chest, but without putting any weight into the head. A little kinder and gentler to the neck here. And then allow yourself a couple of breaths just to settle in here. Absorbing this gentle back bend. And then to release from this pose, we'll first tuck the chin gently into the chest. And then begin to scoot down, bringing the hips back off of the support. And then using the hands, you can press yourself back up to seated. You have a choice for your Shavasana today. You can take a traditional Shavasana, or if you like, since we have our bolster here, we can take a restorative heart opening Shavasana here. So if you like to do that, just let the legs come out long. Again, the bolster or pillow comes up close to the low back, and allow yourself to relax back over your support so that your shoulders and head are supported this time. Inhaling, arms come open wide. And then just allow your feet to relax away from each other. And allow your arms to relax. And allow the body to become heavy. And again, just to notice what's different about reclining this way. Let yourself be heavy, integrating your practice today. And just taking these few moments of stillness and silence, just to be with yourself and your space. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath, feeling into all the places that your breath can reach. Begin to make any other natural movements that feel good here. And allow yourself to gently roll to one side, coming off of your supports. Maybe lying on your side for a moment if that feels good, or pressing yourself back up to seated when you're ready. You can bring your hands to heart center if you like, or just allow your hands to cover your heart. whatever feels reverent and nurturing to you. And we'll close today with a quote by yoga teacher Tara Stiles, who says, a successful tree pose probably won't change your life. Learning how to keep your breath easy, long, and deep, no matter what the circumstance, that absolutely will. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. And I hope that your yoga follows you off the mat.